Okay. Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Okay. Good evening, sisters, friends. So, we are doing these discussion groups at least once a month or more, and we'll be discussing different topics in homeopathy. So, let's start. And the first and foremost is that why only homeopathy? Why are we talking about homeopathy and how does it differ from conventional medicine? So, this information is coming from a magazine called Homeopathy Today. And this is the magazine, but this is the focus of homeopathy by the founder of homeopathy, whose name was Dr. Henneman. And he said that homeopathy is based on the simple basic principle that like cures like, which is different from any other types of medicine or more so conventional medicine, in which the substance which we use and which is prepared homeopathically, originating from the vegetables or from trees or from flowers or from bees, animals, uh, the snake poisons, or from spiders, or it can also be from the sulfur like minerals. So the substances which are prepared and potentized is another term homeopathically, and they're used to treat the symptoms. They can produce the same symptoms in a healthy person. So those remedies or medicines uh, have been tried on healthy people, and effect has been seen, and thus it has been determined that they would be useful for a sick person. Okay. So, like many people, and I have also tried that, when we have cough or when we have sneezing or when we have allergies, we use antihistamines to dry up a runny nose or to dry up itching. Not dry up means to remove itching, to dry up a runny nose. But in homeopathy, the same type of illness can be helped with a remedy called Allium cepa, which is coming from onion. Okay, so from the onion, a remedy is prepared which is called Allium cepa. So the most important rule of homeopathy, which differ from any type of treatment, is that like cures like. So we have to keep that in mind. Secondly, what I want to discuss today in these 30 minutes is that, we are ending the warm weather and we are about to get into fall and cold weather. And what happens in the cold weather is cold and flu because of the change of the temperature, immunity. So let's discuss and see some of the natural remedies which can be used and are very helpful in this kind of situation in cooler weather. So do you sisters remember what remedies we discussed earlier? We discussed about two sisters, very, very important sisters. And both of them start with A. And I used to say that two sisters and two brothers. So we'll talk about one of the sister and one of the brother. The sisters were Aconite, and the other was, you think about it, and the brothers was Brynia and Belladonna. So for cold, mostly the cold, first and foremost, at the first sign of illness, the remedy which is used is aconitum, aconite, aconite napellus, which is the remedy which is used for symptoms of cold. It can be headache, fever, cough, sneezing, when a person is exposed to cold weather. So the first remedy to be used in these circumstances is aconitum. First and foremost, this important thing and disclaimer is that this all information is for educational purposes only. If the person is not well and you are not very well versed in treating a person homeopathically or otherwise, please do not do so and talk to your health professional. But we need to know that these kind of treatments in order to help. Okay. So aconite is a remedy which has lots and lots of good effects, but one of the effect is that it addresses the immune system and helps to improve the immunity and helps in acute stage of um, cold. When a person gets cold and shows headache, fever, sneezing, aches and pains all over the body, runny nose, especially most important thing, and I'm repeating it again, is that it happened due to exposure to the cold, dry wind. Okay, so the first and foremost most remedy would be aconite. What potency should you give? Always be safe and try lower potencies, 30C or below, 6C or 30C. Do not go higher. Okay. Secondly, if the person gets better in 24 hours, if it's good. But in some cases, the persons get hot in the head, the face is flushed, and the hands and feet are very, very cold. Those are the indications of a remedy which is called belladonna. The person is frightened. The pupils are very broad, and broad means big. Broad, not broad. Pupils are never broad, I'm sorry. Pupils are big or dilated. And the person or the child, mostly the children, they have high fever with hand and feet cold. So belladonna comes in play. So this is the first is aconite and the second is belladonna. Secondly, there is another remedy which is very, very useful, and it is tissue salt. Tissue salt are the salts, tissue which are very important part of our human body and other organisms too. And one of the tissue salt is called ferrum phos. Ferrum is iron and phos is phosphate. So this is prepared from with its combination of iron and phosphate, and this is very useful in potency of 6x for early stages of cold, early stages of fever, or if the symptoms are not very clear. You don't get fever or cold because you're exposed to the cold weather, but you just had it in any weather, and or the person is not having flushed face, not having high, very high grade fever, low grade fever, and the person is not feeling well and feeling uneasy. So use ferrum phos. Okay. So I mentioned three remedies here: aconite, belladonna, and ferrum phos. Aconite and belladonna, they are both homeopathic remedies, extremely useful for cold and many other sicknesses. Aconite is the first remedy, specially used when a person gets cold in due to exposure to cold, dry wind. Okay, but if the temperature or the illness persists and it is mostly congested in the head and or the central part of the body, with the periphery, that is hand and feet are cold, uh, belladonna comes in play. But in cases where the symptoms are not clear, the reason, the cause is not clear, ferrum phos is the remedy which is used. Especially the person is pale and very tired. Uh, like I said in belladonna, the face is flushed, right? It's very red, and the person might give a frightened look also, and hand and feet would be cold. But if the person is very, very tired, pale, with mild to moderate fever, and you don't know exactly what's wrong, and the remedy is not clear, then use ferrum phos. So, any questions so far? Because I want to start, I want to talk about this a topic that is very important, which is about cough and some of the remedies or medicines used in cough. Mhm. Okay, so let's go over some of the remedies that are very useful for cough. Um, Okay, now this information is by Rachel Roselle, who is a naturopathic doctor, and she has been practicing natural homeopathy for quite some time. And here is her biodata. Uh, and she's licensed in states and California and Vermont, and a graduate of Southwest School of Natural Medicine, and she works as adjunct in Western University, and so on and so forth. So this all information is coming from a magazine called Homeopathy Today, and it's a very simple, easy to read magazine, and you can go online and you can be a member of this Homeopathy Today, and can have I like this magazine. It's very easy to read. Okay, so let's discuss some of the remedies that were used by the homeopath, Miss Rachel, Dr. Rachel, I can call. Sister, we all have been. I have had cough in my life so very often, and I have seen my boys having cough also. My mom, I mean, many family members. Cough is like a very common ailment in any or every family. So over here, homeopathy can help a lot, a lot. Coughs, it's very common, especially in children during cold and flu season. It can be very scary for both kids and for the parents, especially, in the middle of the night, a child would get up and start coughing, cough, and it won't stop. So important thing over here is also that how much can you give the over the counter cough syrups, because American Academy of Pediatrics, it warns against using conventional over the counter cough and cold medicines in children, especially under 4 years, because of the potential for serious harm. Reasons include that these drugs were tested on adults and not the children, and children may respond differently. And the side effects and the risk of side effects and overdose is also very high in children. But how many of us know that the children under 4 get cough so very often? And these syrups should be taken only when they're recommended by a pediatrician. So we have gentle and effective homeopathic remedies that can help with the everyone with a cough, especially at night. So let's discuss this case. The homeopath says that there was, okay, all the names in the magazines are changed. Okay, these are real people, but not the real names. So a small 3 years old child came to the clinic of Dr. Rochelle with a cough and fever also. So what happened was that 3 days ago, she started having fever and runny nose and some discharge, which was clear. Okay. And then with that the child started coughing in a day or so. So they tried over the counter. Now we have said that people should not use over the counter cough syrup, but we have seen many people, they try it because that's the only thing they want to do before they go to the pediatrician or the hospital or the ER. So the parents of this young child, named Emma, in this paper, they tried over-the-counter cough medications, presents, also use herbs, and combination homeopathic means a group of homeopathic medicines which are combined together and they're put into the syrups called cough medicines, but nothing helped. So the baby or the child, Emma, had cough which was dry and barking, and it was especially worse at night. Okay, now keep that in mind. The child has fever and the child has barking, dry cough at night. And one more thing was that when the child breathed in, I'm trying to give this high pitch. There was a sound, a sound of suffocation, obstruction, or narrowing of the airway. Okay. And the child was coughing like barking cough. Oh, I cannot do it right now, but it's like the small barks of and dogs. And the fever was also 109. So it was clearly showing that there is some kind of a constriction in the upper respiratory tract. So now look at these symptoms. Okay, fever, the discharge is clear, plus the cough is barking cough. So what was the remedy given to the child? Spongia tosta. Spongia. We call it spongia. Okay, I have to get my cat. He is at the door. So the spongia tosta remedy was given in the potency of 200 C. Okay, 200 C. With and also it was also told, and the parents were told that they should have the air, like air should be, they should have vaporizer, something that the air should not be dry in the room. Okay, so what happened after spongia toaster, that the cough and the fever improved within 24 hours, completely they were resolved and she was all right. So what are the some, so spongia toaster is very, very useful, especially when there is constriction in the upper respiratory tract, or and the cough is barking and it's like crowing or whistling type. They feel like there is some kind of a constriction over here. And that's why the breathing is difficult. Labor means it is harder. You know, when we are breathing, we don't know, we don't feel that we are breathing. It is natural. But when their airways are narrow because of inflammation, we have become aware of our breathing. That happened in this case, and spongia really helped. This is also very important to note that the cough due to which is helped by spongia is worse, especially at night, before or after midnight. Okay, not in the middle of the night, but before or after means like 10, 11, or 1 or 2 or 3 a.m. It's very, very bad. Another thing is, if you drink warm drinks or eat some warm food, feel better. Okay, so it is commonly used, this remedy is commonly used in laryngotracheobronchitis or croup for the children. Now let's see another case. So this was Spongia tosta, which was used for a respiratory tract infection for the small child with a barking cough, fever, and runny nose, very mild, but a constriction of the upper respiratory tract. So what is this next remedy? There are two remedies I want to discuss. I'm not sure we are still there. How much time is left? We have
Maybe 15 minutes.
15.
Yeah, right. We start like if you decide to make it 45 minutes, we start 9:15.
So it's going to cut off at 9:45.
Oh, okay. Might be okay. A minute.
Hmm. So there are two other remedies. I'll try to log in again, but there are two other remedies. Maybe we discuss next time. Two other important remedies are one of them is called coccus cacti. I have used that. I have used coccus cacti for myself and for a friend, which helped a lot, especially for cough with chest constriction, but there's a lot of mucus and the person vomits clear mucus in this coccus cacti. Plus, the cough stays with the person for a longer period of time, say for at least a month or more. Okay. So this is the I will send you the notes also about this talk. The third remedy, which is also very useful, is bryonia. Now, what is so special about bryonia? You know, with the bryonia, the important, very important symptom of bryonia is that when a person tries to breathe, the breathing is very rapid and shallow because bryonia does not like to move. If they move, they hurt a lot. Bryonia. Secondly, the cough in bryonia is very, 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 very dry. They call it bryonia, drynia. Bryonia and drynia is very two things that go together. So there is a story about these two patients. One is about 10 years old Samuel, who was coughing for a month. And when he came to the homeopath, he was already diagnosed with whooping cough and antibiotics had been given. Uh, but it was more of a bacterial cough rather than viral cough, so it was not contagious. And also, the cough was very suffocative. Okay, it will end in 10 minutes. We have 10 minutes. So the cough was very, very suffocative, means it was like suffocating. The person felt like he won't be able to breathe. And important thing is that in spongia, remember the person cough was better with warm drinks, but the person with who needs coccus cacti, the cough is better with cold drinks, and person would like to go out into the cold and would like to be around in the cold air. Okay, these are the two things that are different. So coccus cacti was indicated, not spongia, right? Spongia, there is like these kind of sounds that come when the person is coughing. While in the cases of which need coccus cacti, sounds are not there in the cough, but person feels suffocation in the chest and they want to go out and they want to be in the cold. You know, they get cold and they get the cough because of cold, but they still want to go out in the cold. This is very important to know. And also, when they vomit, the vomiting has the mucus because the chest is congested, full of mucus, and it comes and the person coughs so much that he vomits out and he vomits and also the mucus comes out from the lungs and from the respiratory tract in the vomitus. So the remedy in this case is called coccus cacti. Coccus cacti. Coccus cacti remedy was prescribed in this case, and the person was 200 C, and uh, again, the patient, Samuel, he got better in 24 hours, and coccus cacti was given for a couple of days, and the person was better and became well. So again, coccus cacti is a remedy for spasmodic, means the person will feel like that his chest is congested and is suffocated, and you feel like suffocation. Suffocation means I cannot breathe, and they will go out in the cold, and they'll feel better with cold drink. Okay. Uh, and they feel like they're getting choked, they get choked because of the thick mucus. And they will feel bad with the warmth of the inside. Now, so we talked about spongia, right? We talked about coccus cacti, very important. And third remedy which we need in our cough remedy cabinet would be Brinia. Brinia. Again, this comes a child came whose name is, they said, is Max. And in this case, now in the first two coughs, we said it is suffocative, right? Something is constricting. The first spongia, it was ooh, ooh, was showing, was giving a sound. In coccus cacti kind of a cough, it's not the sound, but it's mucus, which is coming out in the form of vomiting. But it's like constriction of the chest, and the person wants to go out in the cold or out of the room. Okay. Now think about it. Nobody is talking about pain while coughing this, but the cough where it is painful. They say, when I cough, I feel pain in my chest and it hurts. It hurts for them to move, and they don't want to move. They want to say, stay still. They want to say, we don't want to go out, we don't want to go nowhere. And also, they want to leave the window open in the room. Okay. So they, in coccus cacti case, the person will go out, rush out. No, I don't want to be inside. I feel suffocating. But in the case where Brainia is indicated, it's more of I feel pain when I'm coughing. I don't want to go anywhere, but let little bit cooler air around me, but I don't want to go anywhere, and I don't want to move. Okay, so that is why the breathing rate would be increased, because if they try to breathe, their chest would hurt, the muscles would hurt, and they will not breathe. They will not breathe deeply. They will breathe faster and shallow. So in this case, there might be low-grade fever. Max lungs was clear. On auscultation, there were no signs of distress, respiratory distress, or cyanosis. So Brainia 200C was given, and Max cough improved right away. He got started getting better. So important thing in the cough where Brainia is useful is that the cough is extremely painful, and it is worse with any type of movement. They don't want to move. They want to lay down. They don't want to talk. If they talk, they're in a bad mood because of the pain. Okay? Pain, cough, dry cough, where they want to have little bit of air, is strong indication of brainia. So they'll have rapid, short breathing, because if they want to breathe deeply, it will hurt the body. So brainia is the remedy which will help. Then there are other, now this is decoding cough, means what does the cough sound like? What does the cough feel like? What is the timing of the cough and frequency of the cough? Is there any mucus? Means, is there any sputum? What is the color or consistency? Means how thick or thin it is. And does it say, the patient say that it has any taste? What makes the cough better? Going out in the cold or staying in the room or not moving? What makes the cough worse? And how is the person feeling? Are the person feeling okay, or they in a bad mood, in an okay mood, or how? And is there any other symptom, like are they thirsty, or they want to drink cold or hot drinks? These are important things to note for a homeopath. So I'm going to send you these information in the link I will send you. Okay, there are other remedies which are also useful for cough, which are Drosera, Rumix, Phosphorus, and Pulsatilla. I don't want to go in details of these remedies. They are useful, but mostly if these three remedies you are well aware of and you use them, you'll be in good hands. Because these other four remedies are also, but let's talk about these three remedies and get very clear about these remedies. Okay, so again, so like we talked about today, so let me recap what we talked about today. So today we talked about, first of all, the homeopathy is different from conventional way of medicine, is that in homeopathy, like cures like. The medicines which we use to treat in homeopathy produce symptoms in healthy people, uh, what are seen in sick people. Okay, so all the medicines which are used in homeopathy have been tested on healthy people. Okay, secondly, we said that when a person gets sick in cold weather or in getting cooler weather, first and foremost remedy is aconite. Okay. Secondly, we said ferrum phos is also used when the symptoms are not clear. Thirdly, we said belladonna is also used in fever. Okay, then we said there are three remedies which are used in cough with specific indications: spongia, coccus cacti, and bryonia. So I have less than a minute and it will shut off any time. If you have any questions, please let me know. And if you want to discuss something specific for the next class, I will tell you when I'll do the next class and we'll discuss in that. I don't have time to answer any questions, but if you do have questions, please send in the class